How's everyone doing? It's your boy Dog TV. Gonna be recording a conversation on Instagram Live. This guy was basically saying he doesn't agree that a single mother, an overweight mother, or a loud mother, it deserves love. And any man who decides to procreate with any of these women should be put down to soil. This is part 5. We've been listening to it. Let's see what else they're talking about. I really don't agree with it, but hey.
Who harm children. Like people say this thing you just said. You don't need the nuts to say it. People just say that. People say about terror. It's so many times. People just say it. So for you to say how does someone have the nuts to say that, don't really take nuts at all, because a lady will say it. Women say it too. So it don't really take no nuts at all. Okay, you're clearly emotional now. All right, I can see what this about to turn. It's about to get real. It's about to go left real fast.
So judgmental.
Yes.
No, so I'm very effeminate of you. I like that.
Yeah.
How can you be so judgmental? Do you notice women say things like that a lot? Women hate to be judged. That's why they wear makeup, to cover over their blemishes. In other words, to cover over the truth, because by their nature, they hate to be judged.
No, I've already agreed with you.
You're displaying the same nature. How can you be so judgmental? I'll tell you how. So men are the leaders in the society.
Mm-hmm.
The laws are defined by men. The consequences are decided by men. And the consequences are enacted by men. The leaders are the ones who judge.
Right.
That's how. I'm a man.
The guy definitely sounded like Andrew Tate right there. That was Andrew Tate to the T. I hear what he's saying. Okay. Let's keep listening though.
But you cannot judge when somebody should be returned to.
I cannot?
Yes, you can.
Cannot.
I already have.
No, you.
Jesus Christ. Jesus, a sweet baby Lord Jesus. Sir, what are you doing right now? You can't do that? What's the capital punishment? Execution. Men do it all the time. We do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? We do it sometimes and we're wrong. There's people who's been given the needle or the electric chair and we've been wrong. So yeah, you definitely can do this. What's your argument about it, B? Are you about to just go on like a type of like emotional tangent right now?
You cannot do that.
I already have.
That's just an idea in your head.
I already have, and I can enact it too.
How can you enact it? You going to kill yourself? You cannot enact it.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
Do you know who Dylan Roof is?
Yeah, I see. There you go.
Okay,
Listen,
yeah,
do you know who Dylan Roof is?
I know who Dylan Roof is.
But you know he can.
Get a gun.
Listen, stop it. Who is Dylan Roof?
He's a white guy that went into the church and 9 people.
9 people? Can we be more accurate?
9 black people.
Thank you, sir.
And they took him to
Now, let me help you.
Know that.
Let me help you. He decided on something, and then he enacted it. We all have the power to enact consequences if we so choose. You'd be a fool to tell me what I cannot do. You have no control over that. You don't even have control over your own libido, which is why you sleep with low women and then raise their children from another dude. So what you need to do is don't tell me what I can do. Bosses do what they want. Peons do what they can do.
You can't.
Just as Dylan Roof decided that he didn't like black folks at that church, he took an action, and they were no more. They were no more. So what you're saying is false. You wish I couldn't do certain things. But your wishes will not be delivered on, my dear boy. So what I want you to know is that you're a weak beta male, which is why you're here arguing on behalf of beta males. No real man would argue on behalf of stepfathers because they're not a stepfather and they don't sympathize with it. No real man who has morals and was in that situation would pretend as though it's okay.
You're not listening. Okay, can I talk?
You've been talking, but you've not said anything.
Can I say
You've been talking, but you've not said anything.
Can I say something now without being interrupted? I've already agreed with you. on the step.
Why are you here then? You know this is for debate, young man. Why are you
Right,
here?
because you said return to the source. That means one thing. You cannot judge and say who needs to be returned to the
Yeah,
source.
I can. Yes, I can. In fact, the only people who can make who makes that determination? Who makes that determination if not men?
Let me finish, sir.
No, sir. You're not very intelligent at this point, so I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to ask you a question to try to pull out some meaningful information.
Go get your rifle.
If men cannot make determination, who makes it? Who makes it?
Go get your rifle like Dylan Booth.
Young man, who makes
Answer
that
the question,
determination if
innit?
not men?
God.
Huh? What?
That is
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. I guess we're not gonna have a logical debate. I guess this
Literally.
is not gonna be a logical debate. It's now just became something where you just say words.
Yep.
That's just crazy. Okay?
Yep.
You can't do this thing, but you keep saying out your mouth that Dylan Roof did it. You're saying a person who ain't even a man. It was like a boy. You keep saying, well, no. I think he was old enough where they'll classify him as a man. You keep saying that you know a man that did this thing, but then you say a man can't do this thing. I know a guy who did this thing, but you as a guy, you can't do this thing. And this ain't even like a thing where I need a bunch of tools. Like if I see a nigga and I use these, I can do it. It just you can't do it. Like he thinks inside you. Oh, go get your rifle, and if I did this thing, then I could do that thing based off of what you're saying, sir. You know what? Let's go into cruise control. This cruise control is this fake debate because a man who keeps saying that he agrees with you, but then continues
Still
to disagree
arguing.
with him.
Exactly,
Crazy.
yeah.
I agree with you, but I disagree about this thing. That nigga didn't say that about this debate. That didn't say he would like for this thing, but he never said that this is the law. Never said that, but you know.
Oh, of course, we have a religious fool. Another religious fool. Why didn't God help you during 400 years of slavery of the black Americans? Where was he?
Oh, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
God decides who lives and who dies. With what I'm
Did you say
saying.
he wasn't
Is that
there?
right?
What I'm telling you is.
So let me ask you a
Wait.
question. If God decides on that, are you telling me that Dylan Roof is God? One second. Is Dylan Roof God?
Talked enough.
Is Dylan Roof God? Young man, is Dylan Roof God?
No.
You said God decides who lives and dies. Is Dylan Roof God?
Can I say something?
You can tell me if Dylan Roof is God.
Can I say something?
You can tell me if Dylan Roof is God.
Because you're getting very disrespectful. This is no longer a debate. Now
Is
you
Dylan Roof
just-
God?
This was never a debate
This is no
from what
longer
I'm
a
listening.
It was never a debate because you're a weak male, which means you don't
Right.
stand up. So you came in playing games off of, I agree with you,
No,
but
I
I'm
do.
still here to debate you. That's not manly. If you're a man, you stand up and say, I disagree, this is what I disagree with. You don't play both sides of the fence. You're a fence sitter. You were sitting on the fence.
To the soil.
You were sitting on the
Return
fence.
to the soil. What
Is
is
Dylan Roof God?
Who needs to be returned to the soil?
Is Dylan Roof
A
God?
man can get a gun and go somebody and
Right.
death.
That's
Dylan
right.
Roof is not God. So
Is Dylan
are you
Roof God?
saying?
Okay, but you said that God decides who lives in. So if Dylan Roof made that decision, how's he not God?
Stepdaddy that you know.
One second. You
No.
said,
Give me
you
one second. Give
stated,
me 1 second.
hold on one second.
Give me 1
You
second.
stated that Dylan Roof decided who lived in that day. You also stated that God decides who lives in. So how is Dylan Roof not God if that's what God decides? Unless you're saying Dylan Roof empowered. It should be God empowered Dylan Roof to do that.
No. I mean,
Well, explain to me. I'm very curious.
a man can decide who that day with a gun or a knife or strangling or whatever.
But you said God decides.
Right.
Okay, connect it for me.
God decides who. There is
Yes.
there is no punishment for God. Somebody. God cannot be punished.
Okay, so did God send
hold on,
Dylan Roof to
hang
do
on,
that?
Hang on.
Let him
If you
talk.
go get your rifle and go every stepdaddy that you know, which I believe is what you're saying,
No, that's not what I've said, but carry on.
you don't have the right to do that. So you will go to prison or you
Yeah.
will get.
Focus on the actual
Yeah.
point, dimwit. I'm asking you, did God send Dylan Roof to 8 black people?
Bro, don't start the name calling. Are we talking? Are we having a discussion?
Come
or
on
what?
now.
Your mind is very, very feeble. You're having trouble staying focused on the topic at hand.
No, I'm not.
The
No, I'm
question
not.
is, did God send Dylan Roof to 8 black people?
No, I don't believe so.
Then if God didn't send him to do it and God is in full control, how did it happen?
because he got himself a gun and decided, I want to go get some black people today.
He
But
decided.
you said that God controls who lives in. Did you say that? Yes or no?
Yes, I said that.
Yes, you said that. Okay, so if God controls who lives in, and
Okay, clearly this guy is not a God-fearing person because God does decide who lives or dies, and obviously as he said, human beings can try and take matter in their own hands, but they will be punished. God cannot be punished. Everything happened for a reason. So I hear what he's saying. I hear what he's saying in this one. That one definitely does not believe in God. I'm a strong believer.
Roof takes out 8 black people, then that had to have been decided on by God.
So the
According to
caveat
you.
to that, anybody can anybody.
The caveat.
Anybody can anybody.
They're
Yes.
coming out on the
Okay.
topic. Now they talk about something
You
different.
actually
Why stick to the
verbatim told
conversation?
him. You told Marquette that he can't. So you can't do it. You kept saying he can't do it, and he said, "Yes, I can. Yes, he like, this is what happens when you have an emotional debate. This is what happens. Well, he clearly was not here for a debate. That guy came here to say that, hey yo, I agree with you, but I'm perfectly fine with stepfathers. Even though that was the actual argument. The actual debate was about Marquette disagrees with stepfathers. He disagreed with it. But then you tried to hop on or like continue on the hyperbolic thing where you said that's not even what the argument is. That was something I said. I said because that's how I feel in that situation about stepfathers. But what I believe should actually happen is this thing right here. Do you disagree? Because if you do not disagree with this thing right here, because technically you're saying you agree that stepfathers shouldn't exist. You keep saying you agree. So you agree with that. But how do you make them not exist if they're here? So you don't agree. This is ridiculous.
Like I said, you can go get your rifle.
But by permission of God, correct?
Oh my God! Can I finish a sentence?
You're repeating yourself. Say something new and new.
Because you keep interrupting me.
Is it by permission of God or not?
I would say no.
Do you realize you don't make sense? This is why I don't debate religious people, because none of you are intelligent.
I'm not religious.
You don't make any
Come again?
You don't make any sense. You have
What?
limited comprehension. That's why you believe in things that are not real. That's why I don't
not-
debate you all. You do
Right.
not understand logic fundamentally. You've contradicted yourself 8 times.
Okay, I see what you do. I see what you. Okay, I see.
Do you think you're not intelligent,
I see.
but you think you are? You're the height of arrogance.
The same with you, sir.
You
You're
couldn't
exactly
even
what you just
you
said.
couldn't even sign
You
on.
are exactly what
We
you
can't
just
see
said.
your face because you don't even know how to turn on your camera. You cannot operate basic technology.
That is
Okay, so
really.
now
That's how slow you are. You can't operate basic technology, yet you have arrogance.
you're foolish.
And that's why you not to curse before you came on, and here you go.
Man, you're foolish.
Oh, these beta males. These beta males that nobody wants. I got some more things to review with you all. Let me acknowledge the folks supporting the work.
That is crazy. It's one of those things. You see, with me, if I was to go on one of these debates, yeah, I wouldn't go on a debate with someone that's not religious, because what they will say and what I would say, they would say, "Oh, you believe in the unnatural, this, blah blah blah. You believe in powers that doesn't not exist and all that kind of stuff." That I can't argue with someone that's not religious. So for me, yeah, for me, you're not religious, there's no point even having a conversation, because it's only gonna go left. It's only gonna go left. So yeah, at that point, yeah, you can just tell what he was trying to do. At that point, they're just scoring points now.
I was actually hoping to hear a real debate, because I know y'all know I be out here. I listen to some chaotic podcasts, but I actually enjoy listening to debates. That right there, don't know what the hell that was. Like, nigga sound like he was gonna have a real one. Then out of nowhere he did a Fomaruski. I was like, Fomaruski. She doesn't have the ball. Fomaruski. He stood up and started running.
Yeah, so that was that, man. To finalize everything, what I would say is, I understand where he's going to an extent, that if fathers stop dating single mothers, more single mothers wouldn't leave. But in the same breath, what about if women that have no kids are dating single fathers. Is that allowed? Because it could be anyone's fault what the reason why the relationship ended. You can't just put it onto one person. As I said earlier, if you're being abused physically, verbally, you don't have to stay in that relationship because you got a child with a person. Your safety comes first. And what kind of environment you're going to be raising your child in? You feel me? Let me know in the comments, man. It's your boy A-Dog TV. Let's discuss some more. Have a blessed weekend. I'm out, man.